So let's start at the beginning then. Why have a vision? Why is it important? Why do people need to know where you're going? There's a lot of whys in there, isn't there? And I did that on purpose, because actually that's one of the critical reasons. People need to know where you're going, and they will have questions as to why are we doing this and why are we doing that and what's happening there. That why question is so important. And as a child, take yourself back. What was the question that probably annoyed your parents the most? Was the why. Because you would do something and you'd ask why, and you'd explain maybe, and the child would go, why? And you'd explain that, and you'd go, why? Or if you were like my mother, I'd ask why, and she would say, because I said so. Now, because I said so didn't work very well with me as a child. I'm quite inquisitive. I like to know how things work. And so I promised myself when I was very, very young, if I ever had children, I would answer their whys. And it was something that I stuck. So there was my vision, even then, probably at 8 or 9, realizing this is not how I will deal with my child. I want to make sure that I answer those questions. So forward on another 20 years, when I've got my daughter Kira, and she starts then asking why. I think 6 was the most we ever got to, but I stuck with it, which meant it didn't upset me or didn't frustrate me like I did my mother. Because I wanted to answer her questions every time. So when she asked why, I would explain, and she'd say why again, and then I'd explain that element, to the point where we got to, Kira, I don't have any more answers for you. I'm giving you everything I know about that subject. If we need to find out more, we can go and find out more from other people. And a lot of the time she'd be like, no, that's fine. And then she'd totter off and she'd be happy with all that information. So that was that initial part of let's get the why back. You need your teams and you need yourself to be asking why. Why am I doing this? You've probably been asking that a lot, actually. Why am I doing this? And therefore, let's start with that. And that's where your vision comes in. It's the foundations of what you do. If you look at, I like Simon Sinek, and he talks about what's your why a lot. And for him, he says, yeah, it is the foundations. It's the reasons why you do things. And that vision is all encompassing to make sure that other people know what you're doing and why you're doing them. And then they can come with you. So as a leader and a manager, it's really important that you share that. So people have that common vision and you're all in it together. And that's what makes a great team. So let's break down some of those elements. So first of all, this vision should give you a sense of purpose. This is why we're doing things. This is what we're all about. And I'm going to go through an exercise with you that will take about 15 minutes, 20 minutes for you to do your first draft. And it will be a bit clunky, and that's fine because you live that for a little while and then we'll get the team involved. You'll get your second draft and then you finally create your own third draft. So you go through 3 processes, but the whole thing should take less than an hour. I'm not an advocate for spending days and days trying to create your vision. It should be something that's inherent in you. It should be something that's part of you, and therefore it's quite easy to get out, and you'll see that with the exercise. So yes, it's a sense of our purpose and what we're doing. It also then helps us to define our goals. And what I've been working with all of you over these last couple of weeks is highlighting what are those key objectives, what are those goals that you want to achieve. And actually we found it quite easy to do them for the rest of the year. Some of you are through to next March, and therefore you've got 3 quarters. One of you is actually just starting your new year in July. So you've got a whole year plan ahead of you, which is great because that then gives you that sense of purpose and the foundations that you can base your vision on. When you actually start to actually doing the how and putting it together, you have to keep coming back to your vision. Does it fit with your vision? It really helps you prioritize tasks. What's most important? What are we trying to achieve? If you're getting pulled off in another direction, your vision will help you to bring it back, to say, actually, that wasn't the original plan. If we look at our vision, now this year, that might have been the right thing to do. Yep, pivot, remember? We've got to go there. In the majority of cases, most years though, you still want to achieve that vision throughout the year, and you probably wouldn't mess with it that much. You do a 6-month review. Does it really mean something to us, or have we achieved it already? Sometimes you've already got there because you worked so hard. So let's do another one and let's push ourselves to the next vision and move forwards. So an annual vision, good time frame. Sometimes they last a bit longer than that, and that's fine. If it's still pushing you forwards, if it's still giving you a direction to go, if everyone's still committed to it and understanding the why, then you can stick with it. Okay, so let's get into the detail then. Now you're going to go, oh, that's quite small, but that's okay, because I wanted you to see the whole document first and foremost. What's important is that you actually can see there's 5 questions, and that's what these blue boxes are. So we're going to go through 5 questions, and at the end, you're going to be able to create your vision statement in the orange one at the bottom. There we go. Good starting point. Simon Sinek, thank you for that. Sense of purpose is really important. So what is the purpose of either the company or the team? Remember, you can do this for both. And actually, individuals can do it for their own desk as well. You can even bring it down to that level. This is whatever comes out of your mouth at this point. It doesn't have to be technical, doesn't have to be too convoluted. It's literally, why does the company or why does the team exist? So to give you an example, when I first did this, I worked for Blue Arrow for 13 years, and our purpose was to get jobs for people and people for jobs. And that's what we used as our strapline as well. But that was our purpose. Nice and simple, easy to understand. Everyone got it. So you have to think about, if you've set up this company, why did you set it up? Why does it exist? What's the reason behind it? So my vision this year, my purpose, was to be a source of learning and development for all my clients. But actually, what I wanted my vision to be this year was to make sure that that was also accessible globally, because I've been working 4 years around the world. I wanted to do a lot more online work. Well, guess what? Careful what you wish for. I'd set the objective around that of 30% of my work online. Yeah, ended up as 100%. So you'll fill in your information into the first box. You then move on to the next one, which should be even easier to come out with. So describing the company or the team's attitude and culture. Now, this is interesting. You're going to actually do both the positive and the negative words. I'm going to put that in red straight away. Okay, so we want both. We want the good and the bad here. Now, you're not going to use the negatives in your vision, but think about it. Wouldn't it be great to know how the team actually thinks about and what you think about the team or the company, and what the negatives are? In other words, the development areas, things that could be a lot better, because that then helps you with your objectives and gives you a focus on what needs to be changed. So you're not going to use negative words in your vision, but you are going to take that information and make it part of your strategy and your objectives to move you forward to get better. So let's give some descriptions then of what those words could be. So the positives of your team and culture, well, it could be at the moment hardworking, tenacious, determined, focused. This would be great if it's all in things. Teamwork could be part of your attitude and your culture, and that supportive, friendly, fun, happy. You want to get about 8 or 10 in here. So really take some time to think about it. And then a couple of the negative ones. So what tends to come up quite a lot in recruitment is inconsistent. So is that attitude inconsistent? Obviously, the performance is likely to be inconsistent there as well. The culture is inconsistent. It could be that as a company, you've got different teams and the cultures are very different. You've got cliques or differences between those teams, and that makes it difficult to run a business if you've got inconsistency in the culture within those teams. All right, identity then. Let's move on to the next box. Think about this time next year. Or if you're writing this as a 6-month review for the end of the year, then you can use this by the end of the year. So if a client or a candidate was to write you a LinkedIn recommendation, what would you want them to say? So this box is more likely to be a sentence rather than individual words. So whether they consider you part of their team and couldn't do the job without you. How lovely would that be to get in a LinkedIn recommendation? Always goes the extra mile, always happy to help out and support, comes up with great ideas and solutions for our problems. Yeah, wouldn't these be great to have on your LinkedIn recommendations? And then our standards box. Okay, really important to help us to make sure that we help define our goals. It will help guide decisions as well as to whether this is a good thing to do or not a good thing to do. What are the standards that you actually want to work by? So again, keywords here. So consistency usually comes in if you had it as a negative in your culture. Then let's put some standards in that consistent. It could be the quality aspect. Right first time, every time. So we're a can-do attitude. That could be the standards to which you aspire. We have positive mental attitude. We always focus on the solution-driven. All of these could be standards that you want to actually evoke in your vision as to this is how we move forwards. So for what you do, whether it's your company or your team, what are the benefits from both your clients and your candidates and your internal customers? Remember, this you can actually use as a vision for all teams within the business, and therefore you might be heading up the internal team within your company, or the back office team, or the accounts team, or the admin team, or finance, HR. They can have their vision too. So their customers are internal customers. But why would someone use you? And it could be the good old benefits, like they save you time, money, hassle, they get increased productivity, you can increase their profile, they get increased confidence from using you. So those good old 6 stalwarts of benefits when we're selling. You can do it quickly and much quicker than they can. You save them money in that sense and the time of doing it themselves. So think about what benefit do they get. And actually, I'm going to change that because otherwise the potential you might only do the one. It's what benefits do they get by using your services. Okay, so let's just come back out of it before we head to the orange one. We've got our 5 questions here. Now I want you to get a highlighter and highlight the words that jump out of that page. What really leaps out at you? What makes an impact on you? That's really important to me. And that is one of the foundations of what I do and why I do it. Okay, you've now got all your highlighted words. So grab a piece of scrap paper, write them down, and start sculpting 2 sentences. So whether you start with my vision for my company, and it might be the company name, or our vision in our team, or our team aspires to, and now you're away and you start using all those highlighted words. You need to get all of them into the sentences, which is why I say it's a little bit crowbarred on the first draft, because you'll get to the end of your sentences having used maybe 8 of the words and you're like, no, I've got 9, I've got 1 missing that's not in there. Where would it go? And you end up adding it in. You can see now, once you've got that on your scrap bit of paper and you've been moving words about and that goes in there and do it from there, okay, now you can write it into your vision. And there's draft 1 for you. A summarized statement of all the highlighted words above in your vision statement that's going to give you a meaningful view of what you're trying to achieve. So live with it, pull it together, live with it for a week or so, keep looking at it, refer to it, have it as your screensaver or something. So it took 20 minutes for you to do your document, 20 minutes for them to do theirs, and you're probably going to spend 20 minutes reviewing it every now and again and pulling it together. So within an hour, you've got your vision, how it can help guide you. So when things start to pull you off track, you go back to your vision. Does this fit with what we said we were and what we wanted to achieve? And if it doesn't, okay, we need to really think about this. If it does, perfect, steam on. So that's the vision exercise. I've got 1 bonus for you as well, though, because all of those highlighted words, guess what? They're your company values. All the things that keep coming out all the time, you've now got your company values. So you've got a double whammy from doing a vision. It helps you create your company values as well. And if you've got any queries or questions, guys, remember you can either get me in the gym or email Angela at recruitinggym.com. Okay, guys, lovely to see you. Speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.